Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello dear students, welcome to another lecture, and in today's class we are going to begin with another writing skills topic, which is formal letters. Now we all know what a letter is, and we are going to learn about two types of letters, formal letters as well as informal letters. So first let us discuss about the formal letters. So what is a formal letter? Now it is always addressing a person. So a formal letter is always written to a person or an organization with whom you are not familiar. So somebody or something which you are not familiar with, something that you are not very well known about, and therefore there is that formality that the formal tone is supposed to be used, and the quality of your content, spelling, grammar will be strongly scrutinized. So when you are sending a formal letter to somebody or to some organization, there is one thing that you have to be sure of, that the person is going to go through your letter with utmost scrutiny. Every spelling, your grammatical errors, what you have written, everything is going to be scrutinized well. And why do we write the formal letters? What are the basic reasons, the purposes for writing a formal letter? For making a complaint regarding something, to make a request for something, or to make an enquiry for something. So these are the three reasons why we write a formal letter. Now what is the format of a formal letter? First, 3 lines, we write the sender's address. So the one who's writing the letter, his or her address is written in the first 3 lines, extreme left hand side corner. We leave a line and we write the date, month and year. So the format is date, month and year. So this is how we write the date. Then again we leave a line. We write the recipient's name or designation. Recipient means the one you are sending the letter to, the receiver's name and the designation. For example, if you are writing the letter to the editor of some magazine, so you will write the editor. If you are writing the letter to the principal of the school, you will write the principal. If you will write the letter, if you are writing a letter to the chairman of some organization, so the chairman, and so on and so forth. Next line, we write the name, the national or the local daily's name, meaning the name of the newspaper, organization or the school to which the above mentioned person belongs. If it is the editor of some newspaper, you will write the name of that newspaper. If you are writing the letter to the principal of some school, you will write the name of that school. If you are writing the letter to the chairman of some organization, you will write the name of that organization. Then comes the address in 2 lines. So 1 or maximum 2 lines we use to write the complete address of the receiver. Then again we leave a line and we write the subject. Subject refers to the reason why you are writing a letter to the concerned person. After writing the subject, we again leave a line and we write the salutation. Salutation means sir or madam. So there was a time when we had to write respected before sir or ma'am, but now we do not do that. We have to write respected sir. We only write sir or madam. Then, without leaving any line, in 3 paragraphs we start and complete our letter. First is the introductory paragraph wherein you mention the the reason why you are writing the letter. You tell something about your own self and the primary objective, the primary purpose of you to write this letter. Paragraph 2 is going to be a detailed paragraph in which you will mention about the positives, negative, causes, advantages, disadvantages. Everything is going to be written in the second paragraph. And then in the last and the concluding paragraph, we mention what according to you are the possible ways of solving the problem, or what do you think is the reason behind something and how do you feel the same can be sorted. After you have written everything you wanted, you again leave a line. We close it by writing yours sincerely. As you can see, there is no apostrophe between R and S of sincerely is also small. So yours sincerely, your signature. If the letter is an official letter, we will always put our signatures, followed by your name and your designation. So this is your format of writing a formal letter. Now, let us look at the sample of a formal letter. Like I told you, the first 3 lines we write the sender's address. The one who's sending the letter, his or her address is written. So 927 Council Street, South Extension, New Delhi 111006. We left a line and then we write the date. So 22 April 2020. We again leave a line and we write the receiver's address. And when we write the receiver's address, the first thing that we have to write is the designation of that person, the title. So, the manager of Department of Human Resource, the Times Daily. This is the name of the newspaper whose manager you are writing the letter to. 17th North Avenue, New Delhi 110022. So in 4 lines you have written the receiver's address. Going further, we write the subject. What is the subject? Application for part-time job. So you are writing a letter to the manager of the Human Resource Development of the Times Daily because you are in a need of a part-time job. So we begin writing, respected sir or sir, this letter is in response to your advertisement in Sunday's issue of the Times Daily. So the first thing you have to tell the receiver is where. If you are writing something about the job, you have to tell the concerned person that where did you get the information about this job. The advertisement did indicate that you were now looking for 14 to 16-year-old students to work part-time after school in order to get new customers for your newspapers. I would like to apply for this job. So you first told the person how did you get the information about this. Then you told something about yourself and the reason why you wish to apply for this job. Next autumn, I will be promoted to 10th grade at Karnar Middle School and I'll be 15 years old then. So the person is telling that he is going to turn 15 next year. And a job as the one you advertised would help me gain good work experience and allow me to earn some money for higher education. I do have some experience which was gained by working in the school office. So the last paragraph, the person writes about the good experience that he has, that he worked in the school office and that is how he got the experience. Mr. Paul Marks, the school principal, has given me permission to use his name as a reference. He indicated that he would be glad to furnish a letter of recommendation. I am available to come in for an interview any day after school. So you've given the information about yourself. After you finished writing, we will leave a line, then yours sincerely and XYZ, or if the name is given, you will write that name. So you see, in 3 paragraphs, again the word limit is not much. You have just explained and elaborated upon the major reason why you've written the letter. When we talk about a letter or anything pertaining to writing skills, it is very, very important to make sure that you write the correct format. If you do not write the correct format, you are going to lose your marks for sure. Now, after this sample, let us talk about all the important things, all the important points that one needs to keep in mind before we write a letter. So, all the points that need to be kept in mind, we are going to just go through it once. First is the address. So, your address, when we talk about the sender's address, it should be written on the top left hand section. This will enable the person that you are writing to reply. So, the reason why we always make a mention of the sender's address is so that the one you are sending the letter to knows whom to send the reply. Then we write the date. So, the date should be displayed again in the left hand side of the page below your address, and should be written in full format. So, it should be written properly, that is 1 January 2001. Then the address of the person you are writing to, that means the receiver's address. So, this address should be displayed beneath your address. So, we first write the sender's address, the date, then we write the receiver's address. Remember to include the name of the person that you are writing to if known. So, if you know the name of the person you are writing this letter to, you have to write that as well. Salutation and greeting. So, salutation we write for sir or respected sir. So, if you do not know the name of the person you are writing to, the safest thing is to write respected sir. In some circumstances, it is useful to find a name, especially if you are making a request, as this will show that you've done your homework and you are more likely to receive a response. So, this is a tip which is being given to you. If in case you are writing a letter to make a request to someone, it is very, very important for you to write the name of that person, so that the person can know that you are well prepared, that you have done your homework, and that you have actually pre-decided for this letter. It was not on the spur of the moment. Okay. So, if you know the name, then we use one of these titles which are given. Mr. for the males, Mrs. for the females, Miss for an unmarried female, Miss for a female who does not wish to tell whether she is married or she is unmarried, and doctor, who is obviously very well versed with everything. Now, when you conclude, you can either use yours faithfully or you can use yours sincerely. We use yours faithfully if we do not know the name of the person, and if you know the name of the person, then it's always better to conclude with yours sincerely. But either ways, if you use, I would suggest that using yours sincerely is the safest way out. So, whether you know the person or you do not know the person, it's always better to use yours sincerely. Okay. Then let us talk about the content, what is to be written in the letter. So, the introductory paragraph should be concise, it should be very brief, and should clearly state the purpose. It should mention the reason, whether it is to lodge a complaint, so whether you are writing a letter of complaint, or you are making an inquiry, or you are making a request for something. The main body. Now, the main body should clearly state the points that you want to make. So, what are all the things that you want to include? As a general rule, it is good idea to keep this as to the point as possible to ensure that the recipient remains engaged. So, it is always advisable to keep your second paragraph, which has the main body, to keep as precise and as up to the point as possible. A longer main body may be more appropriate when making a complaint, as you may require to add more detail in order to convey the importance of what you are putting across. So, it is always preferable to write a bigger main body, a bigger second paragraph, only when you are writing a letter of complaint. Because when we are writing a complaint letter about something, then it is important for us to tell the other person everything in detail. You know, what is it that we are complaining about, when did we purchase it, every receipt number, the MRP, and everything is to be mentioned at that time. Then comes the concluding paragraph. So, the concluding paragraph should outline what action you would like the recipient to take. So, the last paragraph will have what do you want the receiver to do, to make a refund or to send you information, to take some strict action against the person, or whatsoever is it that you want the receiver to do. You have to make a mention of it in the last paragraph. Now, as I told you, there are three types of letters that we write. We write a letter of complaint, enquiry, and request. So, a letter of request is sent either to an individual person or an organization. And why do we write a complaint letter? Because we received poor service or we received a bad product which was not fit for use. And an example of a letter of complaint would be one sent to a tour operator who has bad service, provided bad service while you've been on holiday. So, one example of such would be, imagine you went on a holiday and you were not happy with the kind of services that you received. So, you decided to write a letter to the tour operator, to the tour manager, expressing your complaints about all the problems you had faced. This does not necessarily need to be concise, as it is important that you detail your arguments and points as much as possible. So, a complaint letter need not be very much concise, short, because when you are writing a complaint letter, it is important for you to mention all the points that you have in your mind in detail. Then we have the letter of inquiry. Now, letter of inquiry makes an approach to an individual or organization, either speculatively or in response to printed public domain material whereby you are requesting some information. So, you came across some product, you came across some organization about which you wish to have a detailed report, and thus you decide to write a letter of inquiry to them. Now, example would be, imagine that there is some company and you wish to do some business with them. So, you are writing a letter to them, telling them, requesting them to share their catalog or their brochure with you. Now, these letters, which are inquiry letters, are short and to the point. And it is usually beneficial to include other methods of contact in case the company needs to get in touch with you via other means. So, when you are writing a letter of inquiry, it is important for you to mention the other details, other ways of contacting you in case the company wishes to. And then we have the letter of request. A letter of request is similar to when you make an enquiry only, but it asks an individual or organization to take an action. So when we were talking about the letter of inquiry, you just inquired, you just asked about the services that were being offered by the concerned person or the department. But when you are making a request to someone, you request the other person to take some action against something as well. One of the examples would be a letter sent to request sponsorship for a charity activity. So, imagine you are organizing a charitable event and you need sponsors for that. You need people who can sponsor the event so that the funds can come to you. And for this, you decide to write a letter of request. Now, it is important to stress the importance of being clear and concise with this format, as the recipient must remain engaged and interested in what you have to say. So, when you are making a request to someone, when you are asking someone to do something for you, it is important for you to mention such points that will make the other person willing to help you. You know, nobody would want to help you unless and until that person is justified that you genuinely need their help, that you genuinely need them to do what you have asked for. And that is why we need to write the request letters very, very tactfully. So, my dear students, with this we come to the end of the topic formal letters. So, we've told about what is a formal letter, the three major types of formal letters that we write, that is complaint, inquiry and request. The format of writing a formal letter as well as a sample has been shared with you. Please remember that only, you should always remain and you should always cater to the topic which is given to you. Unnecessarily writing things will only make it worse for you, because there'd be chances of you to lose more marks. Okay, so please remain up to the point, write as concisely as you can. So, I hope, my dear students, this topic was very much clear to you. So, I will see you all now in my next lecture.